Okay, so check it out. It is early in the morning, but I had to do this unboxing because it's driving me crazy. I'm in kind of a low light room and I'm using all kinds of neat equipment to do this so that it looks right. But somebody went to Disney and his wife let him buy a really cool toy. Um, I just showed a video where I unboxed the dark saber. This is something different. This is something expensive. This is something. This is something. This is. You guys see that? Can you focus on that? My autofocus is turned off because I'm using the real expensive camera. Anyway, it's taped closed. Okay, so you don't know what it is right now, right? Well, you probably know what it is because I probably titled it this way. But let's take some. Let's take a knife and let's open this sucker up, shall we? I'm thinking that if I cut those two sides, this will just open up. I'm not sure. I'm not sure though. I don't want stuff to fall. How does this work? Oh, it's a button. It's a button. Look. Okay, so I cut the tape on these two sides here. This is a button you push in, and it allows this to open. Ooh, ooh. What is it? Well, I'm sure a lot of you have already guessed what it is. It's beautiful in this case. Wow. This, my friends, is a lightsaber. Not only any lightsaber, this is Obi Wan's lightsaber. Look at the hilt with the star pattern here on the bottom. This is one of those things where when I was in the store, there was a moment where I got to like hold several of these dark saber or several lightsabers. Excuse me. I got to hold several lightsabers. I'm getting all choked up about it and so emotional. I got to hold a couple of these to kind of see how they feel in my hands. And like I held Ventress's lightsaber, which was really cool. It was curved and it was very heavy. I held one of the Temple Guard, which has got the yellow blade, as you guys know. Very neat, but very ornamental. Um, I saw Mace Windu's hilt, and it was large. It was larger than the largest part of this. And I've got kind of small hands. I mean, I'm 5'8", and you know, it'd be great for a guy 6 foot and above. It would fit his hand perfectly, but this just fits my hand perfectly. Now, I've just opened the box. I'm really not sure what I'm supposed to do now, but I have a blade. It's wrapped in plastic right now. Let me take it out. And they did this in the store, so I'm not really sure how this is supposed to go in. Is it just a matter of pushing it in? Is there a button? I'm not really sure. I'm learning as we go here. I know people who buy these all the time are like, dude, you're doing it wrong. Okay, fine, I'm doing it wrong. Oh, it's got a cap you got to take out, a little plastic cap. Take the cap out, that protects the inside. Okay, and then this slides in. I'm sure it slides in only one direction. Oh, it does. It made a sound, and it's got like a twisting motion that I just twisted it. What is this? That'd be counterclockwise? Counterclockwise. Okay, so in the store, I remember holding this, and the button was right there. You guys hear that? Let's turn the light off. Oh, yeah, let's do that. Let's do it like we did the dark saber. Okay. Oh, but look at that. Oh, come on. How cool is that? I can see now I'm going to have to take some really cool photos. This is so cool. Were you talking to me? It fits both my hands perfectly. Now, let me turn this off. How cool is that? Okay, so a couple things. This was bought at Galaxy's Edge in Disney Studios, Disney Hollywood Studios, in Batuu, the little Star Wars land over there. This was bought sort of spur of the moment. We weren't planning on buying anything like this. I had told my wife in the past when I saw stuff like this that that's way too expensive. There's no reason to buy it. It's so silly. It's so dumb. And literally, this was the last day we were there. We were looking at this. We were looking at lightsabers. This room was always too full for us to go into because there was just lines all the time. Well, just so happens on our last day, nobody was over there. It was all empty. I mean, it was maybe 5 people in the entire room. And she let me hold several lightsabers and test them out and see what they're like and the weight and the feel of it. And it's one of those things where it's an expensive purchase. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to say it's like $180 total for this part and this part. Now, this part is 31 inches. You can get them in different lengths. The 31 inches is kind of true to form of what the lightsaber would be in the show. They have a 26 inch and a 41 inch or 40 inch. I don't know. It's longer. But this one's nice. I mean, and it makes a noise when you tap on it, and you heard the sound effects from the bottom. There's a speaker on the bottom where the sound comes out. There's a little nub right here where if you had the little holster thing, this is what slides onto it and it rotates with it. Of course, why would you walk around with this giant thing sticking around? This is just cool. This is a cool toy. Now, it just so happens that for me, it's podcast material. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to show it off. I'm going to play with it. I'm going to do all kind of fun stuff. So it's a tax write-off. Plus, I really want to mess with Treadaway when we do the podcast today. I don't want to say anything. I just want to like turn it on and be like, "What's that?" And he's like, "What is that? Did you hear that? What is that? What is that?" Very cool. Very, 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 very cool. Golly, I'm such a dork. But anyway, after I bought this, like it got me thinking because my wife greenlit it. She's like, you deserve it. It's content. It's you're into this. It's not like it's something that you won't use. It'll definitely be a talking point for the podcast. It'll be decoration. It'll be fun. It's fun. But it's sort of like buying a baby in a way. I mean, if you're going to spend some big money on stuff like that, you really want to think about what you're going to buy. And it raised a lot of questions like in a moment. I mean, for most people it wouldn't. They'd just be like, this one's cool. I like this one. But like I'm one of those dorks that buys into the Star Wars lore and the ever, larger question of what does it mean? What does it mean to you? So a lot of people would get like Luke Skywalker's blade because he's the ultimate good guy, or Darth Vader's blade because he's the ultimate bad guy. And it looks really cool to be one of those two, or to have one of those two blades. If you're a young lady, you might feel compelled to buy like the Rey lightsaber, which is really nice. It's really awesome. There's a question of what does the blades mean when they're different colors? Obviously, the blue and the green are seen as the light side colors. Mace Windu has a bright purple. I'm not exactly sure what that's supposed to mean, other than that he's the BMF. If you don't know what BMF is, Google it. Ahsoka Tano is known for having her white blades because it's seen as not necessarily force good or force bad, sort of force neutral. She has a little bit of both in her because Anakin was her teacher, her whatever you call it. I'm drawing a blank right now because I'm geeking out. Um, the temple guards had a yellow blade. They were seen as indifferent of the force. They just had a path and rules, and they followed the rules. So it came time to pick out a blade because my wife was like, "Pick out one." I mean, you make money, you earn it. You know you never buy yourself hardly anything. Just go ahead. So then the question again was, what feels right? What fits in my hand? What blade speaks to me? There's a cartoon on, I don't know, maybe it's Clone Wars, where Yoda and Ahsoka take some young Padawans to a cave where they have to pick out their kyber crystals, and their kyber crystals has something to do with who they are as a individual Force user, and it defines what kind of lightsaber they have, and they get to build their own lightsaber. And so, in a way, the kyber crystals sort of speak to them, or they speak through the Force, through the kyber crystals, to determine what kind of lightsaber that they're going to use as a weapon of the Jedi. Um, and all of this crap is in my head while I'm in there looking at lightsabers as a 46-year-old overweight dork. And I just happened to see this, and I thought, I'm kind of Obi Wan. I'm older. I mean, I'm picturing myself as the Obi Wan that's stuck on Tatooine, and he's watching after Anakin, knowing that he's, you know, done everything in his life that he's supposed to do up to this point, and thought he was training Anakin to be a powerful Jedi, the most powerful Jedi in the universe, and then come to find out Anakin's been swayed by the dark side to become Darth Vader. He thought he killed his best friend in the process, and turns out that he lived but became Vader, and because he became Vader, he's personally responsible for all of this. This is all going to come out, I think, in the Obi-Wan show. And there's going to be, from what I hear, a lot of PTSD events where he's going to have flashbacks of interactions between him and Anakin Skywalker. Moments when he thought, okay, this is where he turned bad. This is, I should have known then. I should have said something. I should have done something. I should have done something different. And as a parent of grown-ish kids, I can tell you that's something that I do often. I often replay things in my head and go, I should have handled this differently. I should have handled that differently. And you always second guess. You always question. Well, I do. Um, and so I don't know. I thought, all right, here's a podcast question, podcast worthy, and I'm going to ask it for Treadaway today. If you were to be a character in Star Wars, would you be a Jedi? Would you be a Sith? Would you be a bounty hunter? Would you be one of the random people working at for the Empire just because you wanted a good government job and benefits and stuff like that? And you thought, oh yeah, this is the gig for me. I mean, what would your character be? Obviously, everybody wants to go grandiose, and I could say that I just would probably be one of the regular guys working for the Empire, being like, yeah, I guess I'm doing this, or I'd be one of the people that just lived on one of those planets that they happen to once in a while terrorize and shoot at. But it's kind of neat to think, hey, I might be Obi-Wan. I mean, if he were fat and had a baling wire in his eye and a podcast and But I mean, Anakin's like a teacher. And I'm like a teacher. I mean, my job, I'm teaching people all the time. I get a lot of joy in it. And of course, I guess you'd say I do have PTSD a bit because there's lots of times where I worry if I've done the right thing or if I've said the right thing or if I've led people down the right road or it's always that second guessing, all that questioning. I know that in my heart, I'm still capable of doing all the things that I could have done when I was younger, but physically, maybe not. So I'm like an old Obi-Wan, I guess. So anyway, I recorded a little bit on a Skyliner, kind of talking about this after I purchased the thing. I got it and it was in a bag and the blade's sticking out of the bag and it's really long and it's like we're not done with our day there. And I was like, well, crap, I can't walk around with this the rest of the day. And my wife wanted to ride Tower of Terror, and my namesake alone, I'm not a fan of terror. So she's like, why not? She's like, I'm gonna go ride this ride. Why don't you take this back to the room? And by the time you get back, I should be done with that ride. And you can get us some more water and some more snacks. And I was like, yeah, okay. So sure enough, I took it back to the room and came back. And by the time I got back in the park, she was done with the ride. So that was perfect timing. But I recorded a little bit on the gondola and I'll put it in here. And a lot of it is stuff I've just said, but it kind of, I don't know. Am I the only one that thinks this way? Am I the only one that puts more thought into it than needs to be? What are your thoughts? If you were going to be a Force user, if you were going to be a whatever, not what you want to be, who do you think you honestly are? I think I made in the comments on the gondola that I thought that Treadaway might actually be Mace Windu. But the longer I thought about it, I thought maybe not, because he likes a good time. He doesn't really like conflict. He might be Hondo. He might be a space pirate looking for opportunities, doesn't mind a party. You know, hey, I got my chance to get out of here. Later, guys. And every time he sees everybody, hey, buddies, you know, I mean, maybe he's Hondo. I don't know. I'm going to ask him today on the podcast. So that'll be fun. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. This is just a weird unboxing and sort of a mental dilemma question, existential thing. Hope you enjoyed it. Stick around for more Stuff I Heard podcast coming up today. Okay. Later. So we're in the shop of antiquities. Check out. Lightsabers. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool.
It's just gorgeous the way they've got it decorated.
Look at Grievous is good. That's from Rebels.
And they also know.
Oh, look, it's got Vader's face on it.
Leia's costume over there.
Really?
Yeah.
Here's an example of it at the top.
Oh, okay. Wow.
This is far fine. That's neat. What are the little, there water creatures in here? That's nifty. Check out the dark hoods. Isn't that pretty? That's beautiful. The stitching is cool.
And that thing.
What's that thing that giggles? Is that Leia or Amidala?
I don't know.
There's one of her fancy headdresses with the big sun thing that she wears on her head and some of her jewelry. It's nice material. Very neat. Very neat. Oh, look at the really nice looking lightsabers.
Really expensive ones.
Really expensive ones. I see $139. kind of the going price. Look at that. Kind of pretty.
This case is empty. While somebody gets both up there.
I think this is all Sith. And they might be both. What's up back there? So pretty.
See if there's anything else.
I'm great. How are you?
Great, thanks for asking.
I am geeking out. I'm
You
sure.
are able to hold up to 3.
I'm sure you hear this all the time. You're like, oh my god.
You will never hear it enough. I'm excited.
So, lightsabers. I'm in there looking at lightsabers. I've never got to see any of them really up close other than in the movies when you can see screenshots. I didn't watch anybody's YouTube channel where they get to compare them. And also, seeing somebody else's version of it versus you seeing it is totally different. And holding them in my hand is something different. So, lightsabers. There's a lot of thought that goes into a lightsaber, right? I mean, let's just say that Star Wars is real or whatever, and you're following along with a story, and they get to choose their own kyber crystal, and there's all that thought. So, like I was saying, they were having, I guess, because of COVID and limited whatever amount of people being able to touch things. You know, she said you can hold 3 of them to see what they're like. And just looking at the exterior of them, the first one I wanted to pick up was Obi Wan's because of the handle. The handle had this star-like effect, almost like this design here of the Star Wars logo. At the end of it, it's like spokes sticking out. And the handle was smaller for like your grip. And that was the first one I picked. And I was like, can I hold that one and see? And she's like, yeah, I'll put a blade in it. And she put a blue blade in it, and it lit up, and it was beautiful. It was gorgeous. And I was like, golly, that's pretty. So I was looking for Ahsoka Tano's because of the white blades, because of who Ahsoka is. And I thought, in a way, I kind of side with who Ahsoka is more than any of them, because she's sort of middle ground, a little bit dark, a little bit light, being trained by Anakin and going to the light side and all that stuff. And then being cast out by the Jedi Council for doing the right thing, and was falsely accused and proven right. And she's sort of the underlying hero of all of it, but she does things that are sort of middle of the road. But in a way, a lot of the Jedi do as well. They had Mace Windu's hilt there, and it had a purple blade that you could put into it. But the handle was way too big for my hand to fit comfortably. There was a Temple Guard one that had a yellow blade. I did hold that. That one looked really cool. I held Ventress's because it's very curved, and it was extremely heavy. I'm a big chunky guy. It looks really weird for me to hold Ventress's blade, I'll be honest with you. I kept going back to Obi Wan's, and my wife kind of come up to me and she goes, "If you want one, get one. We're getting older. I mean, it's just money. We'll make it. I mean, we got it. Whatever." So it was sort of like a choice. It's like picking out your favorite kid or something. But also, it's sort of a question of who do you think you are, if that makes any sense. For some people, they tend to want to be Luke, or they tend to want to be Yoda, or they tend to want to be Darth Vader. While I'd like to say that I dig the dark side, characters, and I understand them, at the heart of it, I am Obi-Wan in a lot of ways. I'm a trainer. I'm a teacher. I make mistakes. I put my faith in people that sometimes I shouldn't have. There's a lot of things that suddenly came to my mind, and I was like, Obi-Wan. I'm Obi-Wan. I'm getting an Obi-Wan blade. So I got an Obi-Wan blade. And now I'm having to go back to my room because this bag has a blade sticking out of it, and it's really huge, and I can't walk around and ride any rides with this thing, so I got to take it back to the room. So, yay. Thank you, wife. Thank you, Dolores. I love you. Appreciate you allowing me to play as a kid, even though I'm 46, almost 47 years old. Wearing my Millennium Falcon shirt and my Star Wars mask and riding Rise of the Resistance again. I'm not saying that I am Obi-Wan, I'm saying that I'm most like Obi-Wan. I got to thinking about it as I was walking around, and it's one of those questions where you kind of want to ask other people. So again, like I was saying, it is one of those questions you want to ask other people. I'm trying to do this and the thing above me keeps talking. It is one of those questions you want to ask other people what they think about you. Like, that could be a podcast question for stuff I heard. Which character do you think I most represent in the Star Wars universe? As much as Treadaway and I both like Boba Fett, I think that we're both good guys. I would wager to say that Treadaway is more Mace Windu. Kind of, badass enough to kill Jango Fett and face off against Palpatine if he had to. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just saying. I got to thinking more about Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan, we see him raise Anakin, get betrayed by Anakin, have to fight Anakin and almost kill him. He thinks that he's dead. He doesn't tell anybody, apparently, that Anakin was seeing Padme because he knew it was going on. We sort of see glimpses of that. I think we'll see more of that in the series. Also, he's on Tatooine. So is Boba Fett. Is that series going to have an interaction between the two of them? Are they going to be in each other's seasons? In each other's stories? I wonder. Also, Obi-Wan was in love with the queen of the Mandalorian, Satine. He loved her. Darth Maul killed her. Talking about earlier with the holocron crystals, I watched an animated series, and I'm not sure if it was a short or if it was part of the Rebels or part of Clone Wars. I think it was part of Clone Wars, where young Padawans went with Obi-Wan and Ahsoka. He asked Ahsoka to go with him to help younglings pick out their holocron and basically face their fears and learn to overcome their obstacles separately in this cave. It's sort of a it will find you kind of situation, but you have to find it. It's a neat episode. It's really cool. I don't know the number. Somebody comment and let me know which episode, which season, which episode, and I'll tag it. That way people can watch it. So anyway, especially the Obi-Wan that's left on Tatooine after the twins have been born, after he basically gives Senator Organa Leia, and he takes Anakin to Tatooine to be raised by Ben and his wife. Uncle Ben, is it Uncle Owen? Uncle Owen, Aunt May, or something, I don't know. What are their names? I'm having a brain fart. A big part of Obi-Wan's story is going to be what happens to him once he's on Tatooine. What happens between then, and we learn in the animated series Rebels that he does kill Darth Maul there, while Darth Maul is after Anakin. It kind of leaves question marks as to what happened. How did he lose his weapon, or did he Did he discard his weapon? Did he just hang on to Anakin's? I don't know. This is going to be interesting to see. But he, in A New Hope, which is the first movie that I saw in '77, he's a tattered, battered old man who's trying not to remember the fact that he used to be a Jedi, or trying not to give all the information up front. They shot that very well. They paused in just enough spaces to make you go, wait, what? Like if you watch it now, he pauses in just enough spaces where you can tell there's more he wants to say, but doesn't. It's a great job of acting. The guy who played Obi Wan did a phenomenal job. The way they wrote it, the way they directed it, phenomenal. Okay. I'm not saying I'm Anakin. I'm just saying I'm a lot like him. Okay, just throwing it out there. So that gives a question: if you're a character in Star Wars, or you know somebody close to you, what character would they be? Would they be a Jedi? Would they be a bounty hunter? Would they be just a regular stormtrooper, or somebody working in part of the towns? It's a good question to ask yourself. Kind of fun. Let's talk about it. Hit me up on stuffiheardpodcast@gmail.com, or chime in on this, and let's do it. Let's have a conversation about it. I think it'd be kind of neat. It's just fun to talk about. I know it's not real, but it's just cool. So anyway, I'm headed back to Hollywood Studios. My wife said she's about to get on Tower of Terror, which I'm glad she's on that, not me. I don't like the sensation of falling. So anyway, talk to you later.
Before you walk the red